imagine the innocence of childhood, a world filled with laughter, dreams, and play. But for some, this innocence takes a sinister turn. Today, we delve into the stories of the world's youngest and most dangerous serial killers. These are children who committed unthinkable acts, leaving a trail of terror and unanswered questions. Prepare to uncover the chilling accounts of innocence turned to horror. 1. Mary Bell, a childhood of trauma and murder. Mary's troubled past and a path to murder. Mary Bell was born in 1957 in Newcastle, England, into a life of abuse and neglect. Her mother, a known prostitute, subjected her to emotional and physical torment, the rumors suggesting she was forced into prostitution at a young age. These early traumas set the stage for a life marred by violence. At just 11 years old, Mary committed her first murder. Her victim, 4-year-old Martin Brown, was found lifeless in an abandoned house. The cause of death was initially uncertain, but suspicion grew when Mary began bragging about the act to her classmates. Months later, she struck again, killing 3-year-old Brian Howe. This time, she mutilated his body and returned to the crime scene to tamper with evidence, seemingly to taunt investigators. Arrest and trial. Mary's erratic behavior led police to suspect her. During the trial, her lack of remorse shocked the court. She was convicted but spared the death penalty due to her age, instead receiving a 12-year prison sentence. Mary Bell's later reintegration into society remains a controversial topic. To John Venables and Robert Thompson, the murder of James Bulger, the start of a nightmare. In 1993, 10-year-olds John Venables and Robert Thompson executed one of the most shocking crimes in modern history. While wandering a shopping center in Liverpool, they abducted 2-year-old James Bulger, luring him away as his mother momentarily turned her back. A crime beyond imagination. Boys led James to an isolated area where they inflicted unspeakable torture. They threw bricks, struck him with an iron bar, and placed his body on train tracks to make his death appear accidental. The brutality of their crime, coupled with their age, left the world horrified. Arrest and aftermath, captured after CCTV footage identified them. John and Robert were convicted of murder, becoming the youngest individuals in England convicted of such a crime. They were released under new identities at 18, sparking an intense debate over justice and rehabilitation. 3. Jesse Pomeroy, America's youngest serial killer, a trail of violence, born in Boston in 1859. Jesse Pomeroy showed signs of disturbing behavior early on. By age 11, he had already assaulted numerous children, often luring them into secluded areas to torture them. His first known murders occurred at 14 when he killed 2 young boys, one of whom was mutilated beyond recognition. Capture and conviction. Jesse's lack of remorse during his trial made headlines and he was sentenced to death. However, due to his age, the sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. Jesse spent over 50 years behind bars, earning the infamous title of America's youngest serial killer. For Eric Smith, the boy with the killer smile, the unfolding tragedy. In 1993, 13-year-old Eric Smith committed a heinous crime in New York. He lured 4-year-old Derek Roby into the woods under the guise of playing together. Once isolated, Eric strangled Derek and crushed his skull with a large rock. Motives and psychological analysis. Eric's appearance, red hair, freckles, and glasses hid a deep-seated anger fueled by years of bullying and rejection. Psychologists later diagnosed him with intermittent explosive disorder, a condition that contributed to his uncontrollable rages, judgment, and legacy. Eric was sentenced to 9 years to life imprisonment. In 2021, after serving nearly 3 decades, he was released, leaving the public divided on whether justice was truly served. 5. Amarjit Sada, the world's youngest serial killer, a horrifying pattern. In 2007, at just 8 years old, Amarjit Sada of Bihar, India, became known as the youngest serial killer in recorded history. Amarjit confessed to killing 3 infants, including his own 6-month-old sister and a cousin. His third victim, a neighbor's baby, was smothered to death and buried in a shallow grave. Family complicity and arrest. Shockingly, Amarjit's family was aware of his crimes but chose to remain silent. When confronted, Amarjit showed no remorse, calmly detailing his actions to authorities. Due to Indian juvenile laws, he was sent to a rehabilitation center rather than prison, a decision that sparked global outrage. 6. Craig Price, a teen terror. The crimes: Craig Price committed his first murder at 13, but his most horrifying act came 2 years later when he killed a mother and her 2 young daughters in Rhode Island. Using a kitchen knife, Craig inflicted dozens of stab wounds on his victims, displaying a level of brutality rarely seen. Arrest and imprisonment. When police apprehended Craig, he openly admitted to the killings, showing no remorse, although he could not be tried as an adult due to his age. Additional crimes committed in prison extended his sentence, ensuring he remained incarcerated. The stories of these young killers are haunting reminders of what can happen when innocence is lost and darkness takes its place. These children monsters or victims of a society that failed them. The answers are complex, but one thing is certain: these tales leave an indelible mark on our collective conscience. What do you think? Can such crimes ever be prevented? Share your thoughts in the comments below.